not prepared!
Prince Renathal is definitely one of the most controversial cards Hearthstone has ever released, so in this video, let's check out what are the best performing decks with it. You can safely say the whole meta is revolving around this card right now, and everybody's either playing it or trying to play against it better. I'm also gonna do a dedicated video for the best performing real decks, probably tomorrow, but until then, I will also show you a quick glance of what the meta looks like. Anyway, let's start off with the best performing Prince Renathal decks. For the last few days, as you can see, only a few classes managed to incorporate it successfully, to some extent. And we have Quest Priest at the top, Druid at a close second, and we also have Warlock and even Rogue trying to abuse its power. But everything else falls off short under the 50% mark. I did even face a Warrior running this card, and also a Holy Paladin, and both seemed pretty decent, but I feel like getting the extra cards for those classes is a bit too much of a downside. The first deck on the list is gonna be Quest Priest, and as you can see, you can fit in a lot of powerful cards in this bad boy with Prince Renathal. This is a very control-y deck, and you do have the quest as your endgame goal, but you can also overwhelm your opponent with all of your control tools and big death rattle minions. We have control tools like Akani, Najak, and also Mutinous, so you can really put a kink in your opponent's plan. You can discover extra spells with Venomous Scorpid, control the board with your Condemn, discover extra death rattles with Call of the Grave, we obviously have Silence, and you also have Thrive in the Shadows for once the quest is completed, so you can reliably fish out your win condition at the end. Getting that extra bit of health is definitely gonna help you stall out the opponent long enough so you can complete your quest and find your win condition. So no wonder this is the best performer right now for Prince Renathal, at least from Diamond to Legend. In top 1000 Legend, actually Celestial Druid is the best performer that is abusing this new Prince card. Druids have a very reliable way of drawing out a ton of cards, so it's not a big deal for them to be running those extra 10. We are seeing the core Celestial Druid package, and we also have a bunch of dragons with Kazakhstan ready for whatever for later. You have some early game control tools like Druid of the Reef, Smothering Starfish, Blade Master Akani, and also a single copy of Spammy Arcanist. Wildcard Guff is obviously a huge high roll if you manage to find it throughout your 40 cards. And you have a ton of card draw with your Miracle Growth, with your Nourishes, and also with your Jerry Rig, which tethers them out pretty nicely. We also have another Druid deck that you already probably seen a ton of. This is the most played Prince Renathal deck out there, with already having over 16,000 games. And I gotta admit, it's a pretty fun deck, even though the win rate is not super amazing in High Legend. The deck is super high rolly, but you entirely rely on the randomness Lady Prestor provides with all of the bunch of good random dragons you will be getting. You could high roll with stuff like Ysera, or even Kazakhstan or free. Like, you can literally get a ton of Kazakhstans out of Lady Prestor, and you can even get more copies of those with your Moonlit Guidance. The real genius part about this deck is Lady Prestor is getting drawn out super consistently because you have Capture Cold Tooth Mine as your only choose one card. And you also have 2 copies of Jerry Rig Carpenter, so technically you have 5 shots at finding Lady Prestor early. And most of the time you will be able to play her on curve. If you manage to find both your Cold Tooth Mines, you're even gonna be able to fish out Wildcard Guff super consistently too. But yeah, the whole goal of the deck is to have a bunch of cheap 1-drops, so after Prestor gets triggered, you get a bunch of 1-mana things like Deathwings, Yseras, Kazakhstans, Onyxias, and all sorts of crazy good dragons for only a fraction of the cost. You also have Sir Finlian here, with which you can literally draw out your entire treasures after you have played something like Kazakhstan. Or you can fill your hand with random good dragons too. That's also gonna be pretty awesome. The deck is super fun, and you're probably gonna win a lot with it too from Diamond to Legend, but not as much in top 1000. Another cool deck would be Reno Quest Priest. And here the concept is the same like the Big Priest, but you're obviously Highlander, so you can fit in Reno for that extra ton of healing. I'm not sure how consistent that's gonna be, given the fact you only run a single copy of each individual cards, and that's like a lot of individual cards, like running 40 different Priest cards. It's probably not the best time to do so. And also, this one is not for the faint of heart. Like, this thing has a ton of legendaries. 13 freaking legendaries, that's insane. But yeah, if you want to have some fun with Reno Priest with the new Prince card, this might be the way to go for you. We also have a Curse Warlock, which I already gave you my version of, but you can probably make that better. The difference from my list is this one is actually running a Connie, which honestly I also should have included. We also have a couple of Rune Mithril Rods, and it's also actually running the Demon Seed, which is kind of interesting. I'm not sure how good of an idea this is, given the fact that the only source of self-damage would be your hero taps, and you're also not really planning on going into fatigue, so getting this in your starting hand each game, I don't know, it probably has its merit, but I haven't tested it out myself, so I can't really say. The deck does have positive win rate, but it's definitely an odd inclusion. Curse Warlock feels really strong with the new Prince card because it gives you a lot of extra breathing room so you can get your win condition ready. And getting 10 extra cards is not really that big of a downside given the fact that you always manage to tap and draw a ton of cards. This is another pretty expensive deck given the fact you have to include 40 cards and it has a whopping 10 legendaries in it. But all in all, you're probably gonna have a lot of fun with this one if you have the cards for it. And the last positive Prince deck here would be the Pirate Rogue. I'm not sure how smart it is to slap in Prince Renathal on a deck like this, but this is another 50 plus win rate deck, so I am giving it a feature. Surprisingly, we're not running Maestra and the Gnolls in this one, but we're heavily relying on the pirate synergies, and we even have Pirate Admiral Hooktusk. You have the cool combo with Plague Scientist and Pufferfist, but it's probably gonna be pretty hard for you to pull that one off, because you will need to fish both of those at the same time so you can actually abuse it. You do have Cutlass Courier for a bunch of extra card draw, and you also have Shroud of Concealment, which is also gonna help you out. A couple of Swordfish are in here as well, and you're probably gonna be able to find the pirate since you are running so many of them, but there's also a chance for you to flop with it too. But it's still a nice way for you to dredge and have a slapping weapon for you. This deck also has room for Bran, and this way you can do some crazy stuff with, let's say, Pirate Hooktusk, and that way you can really put a kink in your opponent's plan. This deck has only 8 legendaries in there, and I start to see why Hearthstone released a card like this. It definitely seems like the meta decks with it are gonna be very much more expensive, but yeah, that's kind of an obvious side effect, like having to fit in extra 10 cards, what else are you gonna fit? But yeah, these are the best performing Prince decks right now. We also have some bad aggro Demon Hunter including Prince as well, but the win rate is just not there. Same goes for this Thief Rogue, as well as a Control Murloc Shaman. And like I told you, in top 1000 Legend, Celestial Druid is performing best, but also the Ramp Druid with Lady Prestor is also just above 50, so you got that going for you, which is nice. And here's what the best performing decks from Diamond to Legend look like after the new Prince card got released. Mech Paladin is still at the top, but also Mech Mage for some reason rose super hard, and also Murloc Warlock. That kind of sounds weird, but I guess with all of the Prince decks out there, you're probably gonna have a better time sticking stuff on the board while they try to find some of their answers. Amulet Mage is still fine, Beast Hunter as well, Fell Demon Hunter still works nicely, Control Murloc Shaman is not bad, and just Murloc Shaman too. Let's see what the situation is in top 1000, and as you can see, Thief Rogue is still doing pretty amazing, and this is the version with the Blood and the Water, which you get to play for 0 mana, which are a Swift Scale Trickster. You still have some Jackpot shenanigans. Naga Priest is also doing alright, and Boat Rogue is still above 52. Celestial Druid is one of the best performing decks as well, so that's kinda interesting because this is a Prince Renathal deck, but yeah, everything else looks kinda mediocre. Anyway, that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Hope this helps you figure out what you wanna be playing with your new Prince card. Don't forget you can hire me for some Hearthstone coaching. Thanks for watching, I'm Kris05, and I'll see you in my next video, or stream.